So today on Idiot School Running, we have Jake and Ross. Say hello, Jake.
How's it going, Colin? Hiya.
Say hello, Ross.
Hi, Colin. Thanks for having us.
On our show, we've got a guest who likes to run. Do they really? Do they jog around the place just for fun? That's not fun. Are they a professional athlete? Nope. Lining at the start with the elite. It don't matter. We've got a guest on our show because we asked and they didn't say no. It don't matter because our show has a guest. It does. Pretty much because we asked and they said yes.
I suppose I'll start with you, Ross, and I'll start with Jake. How are you, Ross?
Not too bad, yeah. Just training flat out at the minute, so I am for a big upcoming event, which we'll maybe touch on later.
Definitely. And Jake, yourself, how are you keeping?
I am not too bad. Wee bit tired after uni.
Ross, tell us a wee bit about yourself, what your running journey is, and we actually met on the We Run Wild NI event, which was 100 miles. You were pounding the pavement ahead of us. Myself and Andrew caught you, so we had a chat. But I know your story. Tell everyone who's listening about your story.
So I probably started out running around COVID time with my first marathon. And then from there, I just got the bug and I suppose was always looking for the what's next, and then sort of started Googling and seeing that ultras was very much a thing. And did a few sort of 60 milers and built it up, and then did the 108 miler, the Northern Ireland 100 by We Run Wild there last two Junes ago, and then I did it the second time around there with Jake last June, and that's where I met yourself as well and Andrew. So yeah, it's about 3 years I've been running, so not long like to be doing the ultras, but it's addictive, as you know yourself.
3 years? Oh, it is addictive. And Jake, what about yourself? What's your journey into running? Have you been running 3 years? Did Ross tempt you into running? What's the story?
Yeah, I haven't been running that long either, maybe 2 to 3 years as well. And I was just trying to get my fitness up for jiu-jitsu a bit. So I was just running on the weekends, maybe one run a week. I just like progressing, trying to get further and further, trying to impress people with my distance. I did like a 50k after like a month of running. And then after that, I kind of slowed down a wee bit. And then I got talking to Ross for the first time, and he was telling me about him doing the 100 miles. And then that sparked it again in me. I was like, oh, flip, I need to get running again. Started running again, started doing some longer distance, and then eventually did the 100 miler with Ross, and that's where I met you as well.
And we had, I think we had a good chat. Me and Andrew probably held yous back for ages. We were chatting and Andrew was talking rubbish. And so we were on that run, and there was part of that run where I was giving you advice. I was able to give you advice. I said, what are you doing next? And you guys have completed something that I failed at and led me into ultra running. So you guys went together, and tell me what you did.
So last August we ran the length of Ireland, so we did Mizen Head to Malin Head. Did it for charities both sides of the border. Marymount Hospice down in Cork, and then Ireland Cancer up in Donegal. Did it over about 9 days or so. It was about 60 kilometers a day, Jake, wasn't it? Yeah, about that. There's a few harder days, and it was tough, like a lot of logistics, carting back and forth each day. We probably didn't plan it, well enough, but yeah, we got there in the end, and we took that record for becoming the youngest to ever have done so. So yeah, we're pretty pleased with that.
And so you should be. And you know what? You may have just hit another record today. You are also the youngest people on the Idiot School Running podcast to date. So congratulations. There's another record broken. You're just 3 years running and you're breaking records like you wouldn't believe. When I did that run, I got to nearly Limerick. And when we were out running with yous on the Northern Ireland 100, I think I said maybe it did say to you, or maybe I thought it. I said, don't stop at Limerick. Keep on going. That was my mistake. I had never ran an ultra before, and I thought I could run the length of Ireland, and so no experience whatsoever. And you guys went out and you absolutely nailed it, and I followed your journey. Congratulations, guys. That's your journey up to here, and your journey's not stopping because you're raising more money. And I'll go to Jake. Jake, tell us about your next adventure and what's going to happen.
Yeah, next adventure's in April. We're going to Sahara Desert to do marathon the Sables. That's an event over 7 days. We're there's 6 stages, and one stage is 2 days long, and it's around 250 kilometers. So it's like a marathon a day, basically. But one day is a double marathon, and you're running through the desert. So it's gonna be warm, sandy. You have to carry a backpack with all your supplies, all your food for the 7 days. So I think that's gonna be the toughest part for me, carrying the weight on the sand.
And Ross, anything to add to that story, or what's next?
Just to touch on what Jake said, distance, I feel like we're sort of feel like we can do that now. We've done a few ultras and we're ready to take that on, but the heat's just going to be a whole other element, like just training for it and everything's crazy. In the sauna most days, like every night this week, pretty much I'm in for an hour in the sauna if I can fit it in, just to keep acclimatized. But yeah, we're doing that for Northern Ireland Pancreatic Cancer, NIPANC, and they're a local charity here in Northern Ireland that raise awareness and obviously funds for pancreatic cancer. And all their funds and everything are kept internally within Northern Ireland across our unis, where all the research is done. But yeah, there's people close to us that this charity means a lot to them as well. So it's just great to be able to do it for them, and we're so fortunate to be able to do so. After doing head to head, and we were asked by them, would we like to do something for them? And we said, bring it on, like, of course, like, we're more than happy. So
Brilliant. Brilliant. Happy days. That is some journey. And like, for only running a short length of time, you're really starting to tick boxes that people would be trying to tick their whole lives. What's the training like? So you said you were in a sauna, getting acclimatized to the heat. Now I did watch. I was going to ask you. There's various MDS events. If people don't know what the Marathon de Sables is, I think there's one in Peru. There's the Sahara. There's Fuerteventura, to name a few of them. But they do various ones. And I watched a video on a guy running it, and he actually said it's freezing at night and it's roasting during the day.
You have to bring a down jacket and a decent sleeping bag with you that you have to carry the whole way with you, obviously. So last year apparently it got up to 50 degrees during the day, and then it's low during the night. So need to prepare for both extremes.
Wow. And how do you train? How do you train for that? Like, Jake, I'll go with you because Ross, you've touched on the sauna. Jake, how do you train for that warm weather training? And will there be aid stations on the way? And what food do they serve?
Yeah, so my plan for the heat training is, well, I've researched it a wee bit, and it says to get your body acclimatized, you kind of need 3 to 5 weeks. And the way I'm preparing this week, I'm starting to wear extra layers on shorter runs and then try to build that up, and maybe do a few sauna sessions as well. And then for the aid stations, yeah, you have to carry at least 1.5 liters of water on you all times, and they'll refill you every 10K or so, I think it is.
If you read David Goggins' book at all?
Yeah, I've read the first one, yeah.
So you're aware that he dressed himself in like 3 layers, a jacket, a coat, a hood, everything, and went cycling to work, I think to his base, and then he got there and he was able to wring out his clothes. Are you going to get to that stage?
That's the goal, yeah. I like to do that, but I don't think I'll be as psycho as David Goggins. He cycled, like, what was that, like 20 miles to worked, and then worked out at lunchtime, and then cycled home and did a run. Like, it's a bit much for me. Like, I have other stuff to be doing.
I suppose you have to pass your uni course, isn't that right? And Ross, what's your peak? What's your peak training? I'll ask you both. What does your peak sort of training week look like? Like, where do you go? What do you wear? What do you eat? Like, tell us all about it.
So I'd say probably like before you hit your taper weeks, about 5 weeks of sort of 80 to 100k weeks we'll be doing, like built up with your short runs during the week after work whenever you can get them in, and then long runs at the weekend. And we go up to Murloch there, Murloch Beach, just to hit the sand dunes and practice going up and down them, just to get used to the sort of resistance in the sand, and get to practice using our shoes. We've got like gaiters and stuff stitched onto them to prevent the sand getting in. So yeah, just getting used to everything. Running with your kit on is so important. as well.
That sounds like a real adventure. Do you know what? I'm super excited for you. I'm really, really excited for you. And I know my brother can't be here today and he'll be really excited for you. But Andrew has a question. And the question is this.
So you're going to run in the desert. The obvious question to ask is, what does your dream sandcastle look like? Tell me all about it. How big is it? And if I was to look or walk into this dream sandcastle, what would make me go, ooh, I wasn't expecting this in this dream sandcastle?
So, who wants to answer Andrew's question first?
That's a mild question.
I would probably say, for my dream sandcastle, we actually recently, Jake and myself and a few others, went up Sleeve Donard and built an igloo on the top of it. That was another record we got actually. We became the highest altitude igloo in all of UK and Northern Ireland. I'd probably just replicate that but out of sand. I don't know how well it would stand, mind you, but I would give it a good go anyways. And then
what would be in it? What would be in it?
What would be in it? Probably just my go-to food on an ultra. It's dried mango, and I've no rhyme or reason. Just when I'm running an ultra, I need my dried mango in my pouch at all times.
So Ross, to clarify, your answer is a sand igloo with dried mango inside. Jake, what's your thoughts?
I wouldn't mind maybe a sand mansion in the Bahamas or somewhere nice where I can relax a little and get my recovery in.
You end your run, you're on your holidays, you've got this sand mansion, and a mansion has everything in it anyway, so it's kind of awesome answers. And Ross, igloo on the top. I seen this on the top of the moor, and you were in the newspapers and you were breaking records again. Tell us about this igloo and what was in your igloo.
So one of our good mates from Macrofelt, he's an engineer too, and he's had this idea for the last 2 years about becoming the first to build the highest igloo in the UK and Ireland. That was the record. And he modelled it up, everything, designed it out, did loads of research. He went the week before to build an igloo in Limerick. It was during that snow spell there, the cold spell. And then he just sprung it on myself and Jake and says, would you be interested coming up with me and making this happen? And the four of us went up in the end, and we, from the car park, we basically thought, nah, there's no hope, the snow's all gone. But we went up anyways, and it was just perfect conditions because there had been a wee skiff of rain, so the snow was just the perfect texture to make it. And we started about, I think it was 6 p.m. in the evening, wasn't it, Jake?
It's about 6.
Something like that. And we built it right through to 4 in the morning, and clearest night, stars were out, unbelievable. It was probably one of the best experiences of our lives. It was class, it was. And then we slept in this igloo until about 9 in the morning, until we got some guests poking their head in, some hikers, and looking to join us. But yeah, it was cold.
You slept in the igloo
For how long was it? 4 hours or something?
4 or 5 hours, yeah. And then
the wind was just cutting through. I think we stayed, we were all awake for about an hour until we got out of our sleeping bags, just because how cold it was.
No one had actually owned up to how cold it was, and Jake was the first one to say, lads, is anyone else cold here, or is this just me? And then we all give in and admitted it, so we did. So
So then you decided to come home. So the novelty. So what you're saying is you can build an igloo, but after about 4 hours, the novelty wears off, and you want to go back. You want to go back to your own lifestyle. And you were saying it was windy through the igloo. See, I have these ideas, these connotations that an igloo is warm and cozy. And you said it was a bit drafty, yeah?
I thought it was going to be nice and warm. You see these videos that your body heats up the inside, but because it was on top of the mountain, the wind was so strong up there. Between the blocks, we had packed it with snow, to cover up the gaps, but the wind must have just cut through there, and we woke up and there's all these different holes, and it was freezing.
I absolutely love that, guys. So
it was our first time using, those space blankets we carry on the ultras for all the mandatory kits.
Yes,
it was our first time ever opening those. I had to crack them
And do
open.
they work? Are they good?
They warm you up like to an extent, so they do. I think they'd save your life.
Because I always wonder, I see them space blankets and I've seen them and they're so and so flimsy and just like tinfoil. And I thought, how do these things actually work? I've never put one on. I've never thankfully needed to use one. But you said they do they do have a wee bit of heat in them, yeah?
Do something.
You would survive, but you wouldn't be comfortable at the top of Donard.
Yeah, well, so we've chatted about the Northern Ireland 100, the Marathon de Sables, the making an igloo, the running Mizen de Malin. Like, I would say what's next in the future, but from the sound of you two, is that it's just things seem to keep happening, yeah?
Yeah, I thought I was done running after the head-to-head Ireland run. I was going to retire and get into the gym a wee bit. But then Ross rang me up and he's like, "Oh, I can get us sponsored to go to Africa." That's just something you can't turn down. So I made that decision. Yeah, go and start training here for this next thing.
Yeah, Jake, well, as I say, it's not a tap, and I think, Ross, you'll agree. You're probably like me. You can't just turn it off, Ross. You can't turn it off. Once you turn that tap on, that toothpaste ain't going back in the tube.
Literally, the last 10 miles of every ultra, you're just thinking, like, never again. This is the stupidest thing I ever signed up to. And then the morning after, you're still lying in bed in pain, but for some reason you block it out. You go onto Google and you search for your next race. So you do, like, you get the next one booked. So you do. So
Where else are we going from here? So I suppose you did say you were the youngest to run the length of Ireland. Just to clarify, what age are you guys, Jake? What age is yourself?
Well, I was 21 when I completed it, but I'm 22 now, yeah.
21. And Ross?
I'm exactly the same, but I was the younger 21 when I did it. So technically, technically there's...
Well, I technically touched the finish line first. So I was technically the youngest for about 10 seconds, 5 seconds maybe.
Class, I love this. This is what happens when you run with someone. So same thing happened to me where my brother ran faster and further than me on the Northern Ireland 100 and I can't live it down. He actually finished 2 places ahead of me somehow. What happened was we met up with another fella called Paul. And we were chatting to Paul, and Paul, he ran it, and he ended up in between me and Andrew. Andrew crossed, Paul crossed, and then I crossed. And I finished 2 places below Andrew. So, Jake, that was a good call. Was that planned? Was that planned for you to touch it first? So you were the youngest, and then the Ross to come straight behind you and take the title. Is that the way it was planned?
100% planned from my side.
Yeah, I was completely unaware of this.
I love it. Was it a race to the end? Did you just race at the end, or did you just chill and soak it in?
The thing is, the last maybe like 200 meters is up like a vertical hill. So it was hard enough. We're trying to keep a steady pace without stopping because it was so steep. All our friends and family were at the top cheering us on, and we're like, we can't stop for a break here.
No, you can't. You're flipping. You're too close.
I know that last day was brutal. We there was a car crash, so we actually had to be diverted 5k ourselves. And like the last thing we wanted on our last day was an extra 5k after running like 500 odd k so far. So yeah, it was brutal, but yeah, we were just so relieved to get it done. And
that's what you want. You want the story. All them wee things that happen in these runs are all part of the story that you don't see coming. That just changes your plans and even makes new plans. Ross and Jake, what is your plans for after MDS, or do you have any plans? I'll start with you, Ross.
Not train for something just as extreme for a while. I'll go back to the 100 milers, I'd say, and I'll do the Northern Ireland 108 definitely again this year. It says I wasn't going to, but it's something you just look forward to every year, I think, now at this point. And then there's the new Famine Way one. I was thinking about that. Have you seen it?
Yes, I have. Yeah. I have.
So I think it's 100 miles too, isn't it?
It is 104 miles, and we actually had Gary on the show from We Run Wild, and I will be at both of them events, all being well as well. So unfortunately, you'll get to run with me at the 108 miler and be crewed. Andrew will be there crewing yous at the 108 mile, and I'm trying to convince Andrew to join us on the Famine Way.
Oh yeah, 100%. He has to, like.
Oh, he has to. And Jake, what about yourself? Are you joining us in them races as well? Or are you done? I
don't know. I need to think about it. But these things, someone asked me, and my first reaction's no. And then I go to bed that night and I'm like, "Aye, I'll do it. Sure, why not?"
Hey,
But
what else what else are you gonna do? Like, you know,
I have plenty of
what else you
other
gonna do?
hobbies. I'm into hiking, climbing, or jiu-jitsu. I just spend my time more wisely. But one thing, one thing I'd like to do, and I'd rather do it sooner rather than later, is maybe like a backyard ultra. I would like to do 100 miles in 24 hours. Just, I think that's a good goal to set. So I'll be up for doing one of them. So
Yeah, the backyard ultras. We had Ben Bungle on the podcast, and I said to him, I said, backyard ultras are not for me. I said, what do you like about them? He goes, Colin, he says, you have a picnic. Every time you come around, you go back to your picnic and you get to choose what you want. And let me know if you're doing a backyard ultra, Jake, if you're about, because I will be there and I'll bring you a McDonald's for whenever you want. And
very much. That would be
I
amazing.
promise you. I promise you. And guys, so you're doing this marathon de Sables, and how do people connect with you? How do people give money to the pancreatic cancer charity? And yeah, just how do people follow you on in the online space?
Yeah, the easiest way to find us is on Instagram. The username is desert_ultra_NIPANC. And our link for the donation page is in the bio there. And we'll be posting any updates, any training videos. And then when we're doing it, we'll try to get a few bits of footage up.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And if you're posting stuff up, I will share as much as I can. And yeah, guys, donate. If anybody's listening to our show, please donate to these two guys. It's a charity that's probably needs all the help it can get. And if anybody wants to donate, please donate through these guys. It'd be phenomenal.
We have a wee fundraiser actually we're going to be doing as well in March for it. So it's going to be like a 5K run around Belfast. So we'll release the date. We haven't it fully finalised yet, but we'll get it out there and we'll share it on our Strava and everything and hopefully get people out together. There's a society in uni called the Legs and Kegs Running Club. So it's like a wee 5K and you go to the pub after and enjoy yourself. So yeah, probably all just wear purple. The colour of pancreatic is purple. So just to get out there and raise a bit of awareness and get it around the streets of Belfast, basically. So yeah, that'll be in March. So look out, for our socials, and we'll get that posted up and shared about. So yeah.
Brilliant. Well, myself and Andrew, we are away at the very start of March, the first week of March. If it's after that, I will convince Andrew to come out for a 5K. I will drag him out kicking and screaming because he doesn't like the cold and he doesn't like running, but he joins these events. Guys, thank you so much for coming on today and chatting to me. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, been good experience.
Thanks for having us, Colin.
No, any time. And my previous guest said to me, he goes, Colin, I'll get you back and we can have a debrief. And this is my thing now. I'm thinking, can I get you guys back on, have a debrief of the MDS? Would you be willing to come on and chat to me about your experience and what it was all about and how much you raised and just what you're on to next, Jake, and your next big maybe 200 miler, Jake, because you will do it again. You can't turn it off. Would you be willing to?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure,
100%.
100%.
Brilliant. So you're signed up for the debrief.
Aye, definitely. I was saying to Jake in a couple of years we'll have to think about doing that. Do you see that winter spine?
Yeah, go for the summer
then-
one. There's a summer and a winter one.
Aye, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, the winter one would be tough.
Running in your crampons and all, like, be brutal.
It'd be brutal. Rather you than me. But let's wait and see. I might be there. It might be good fun. You never know. I'll
Yeah,
never
we
say
can
no.
all convince each other.
Right, guys. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Colin.